if you like to know what it means to be a girl in the year 2023, you can picture yourself being a young girl, age 13, living in Kabul, Afghanistan, for example. In the last 6 years, you woke up every morning with joy and get ready to go to school. Today, you are finishing your primary school, and you know that from tomorrow, you have to stay home. There would be no high school, no university, and no job. You stay home so that you can get married soon and move from your father's house to your husband's house. That's what it means to be a girl in some part of the world in the year 2023. Or you can picture yourself being a girl about 13-year-old, living in a small village in Chad, Niger, Bangladesh, India, or anywhere else in the world. One morning, when you wake up, your mother tells you that you are getting married today. You stare at her in disbelief and just leave and go to play with other kids. Around noontime, a man comes to your house with the village chief. Your mother holds your hand and sits you on the floor next to this man. Your whole body is trembling in fear. Soon, you find yourself sitting in the car with the tears streaming down your face, begging this guy to let you go, as the car slowly drives away and leaves your small village behind. From every 5 girls across the globe, 1 is getting married in their childhood. Or you can imagine being a 15-year-old girl living in a small town in Iran, the country I'm coming from, or in Pakistan, or in Turkey, for example. Imagine you are having a boyfriend, or you just have a crush on some random boy in the neighborhood. One day when you are coming home from school, you see this boy in the street, and you two start talking. But unfortunately, your dad or your brother or some male relatives see you talking with this boy. When you arrive home, your dad is standing at the door with a leather belt in his hand. It's midnight, and you have literally passed out from pain and sleeping. Your dad comes to your room. And tomorrow morning, when the sun rises in the sky, your mom finds your body covered in blood in your room. Every year, more than 5,000 women and girls are killed for the reasons of honor around the world. And we know that this is just a fraction, a small fraction of the actual number, because these crimes are not always reported. Or the last story that I like to tell you. Imagine being a 16 or 17-year-old girl living in Mexico, in the United States, or here in New Zealand. You are working at the local shop every day after school. One night, around 8 p.m., when you are walking home from work, you turn into an alley. You see that a bunch of young men are standing there, staring at you. You know what's going to happen. So you turn your back and want to run away. But it's already late. They block your way. And before you get time to scream, to ask for help, one of them put his hand on your mouth. You wake up in the hospital at midnight, and you still feel the pain, not just in your body, but in your soul. Imagine you are that girl, and a few weeks later, you realize that you are pregnant. You are living in some states in the US that abortion is banned, or any other country in the world that abortion is totally banned. You don't want your parents to know that you are pregnant. You don't have money to travel, to go to another city to get the abortion. These stories and these few countries that I name, they are just examples. The issues that women face, like ban on contraception and abortion, or child marriage, or honor killing are widespread issues. They are universal problems that women facing in the year 2023. However, in the face of all this violence, oppression, and discrimination that women face, they are rising around the world. Look at women in the Middle East and North Africa, the region I'm coming from. You have heard about Women Life Freedom Revolution. A nationwide uprising is named after women in Iran. Or remember Arab Spring in 2011, when people in the Arab countries were chanting, "As-Thawra Unsa," revolution is female. Women are the faces of revolution. Remember that Sudanese girl standing on the roof of a car and singing for the revolution, with the crowd surrounding her, clapping and responding. Women and girls are driving forces of progress, change, and freedom. And girls from Generation Z, you are way braver than my generation. You are ambitious, you are outspoken, you are embracing diversity, so you can be the change makers for the status of women in the world. However, remember that in order to be able to change the subordinate position of women in the world, we need to understand what the core and the root cause of this problem is. The problem cannot be solved by simply adding more women and stirring the pot. Don't get me wrong, I don't mean that it doesn't matter to have more women in leadership, in education, in politics, in sport. It matters, and it's essential. What I mean is that the problem is way bigger. It's more serious. The real change happens when women are able, when women are free to run their team, their company, or their country in their own feminine way. The change happens that women do not have to perform according to the rules written by men and from the male perspective. The change happens when we are able to challenge the masculine hegemony that prioritize male characteristics like being competitive, assertive, authoritative, to feminine characteristics like being nurturing, being empathetic, being compassionate. That's when the real change in the status of women happens around the world. Woman, life, freedom. Thank you.
Yay. Wonderful. I'm Michèle A'Court. I'm not just some random woman who wandered onto the stage for a chat, but I would have anyway. So do men need to be liberated from the male way of doing things?
Of course, definitely, because, it's not about the sex, The thing is that all human beings need to balance these feminine and masculine, characteristics in themselves. And all the problems that we have in the world, from my perspective, it's because we have lost this balance for thousands of years, Everything is based on that, power and, authoritativeness, strengthness, all those features, and nothing is there, that can balance that. So definitely they will benefit from that change.
What is the one thing you would like to see change in the short term? Is there one goal or one achievement that will show that women are making progress?
I think at the moment there are lots of horrible stuff, happening around the world. Just look at the situation of women in Iran, in Afghanistan, people in Palestine, in Ukraine. So given all these, crises that we have around the world, I personally, I'm not focusing on any short-term, small, goal to happen. What I think each person can focus on doing their own share. And I personally focusing on how to reshape this structure, how we can change the structure of the international relations, the global politics, so that we can achieve.
Can you explain some more about that? How are you trying to do that?
At the moment, actually, I'm working on a postdoc research proposal, and deadline is in 10 days, so fingers crossed. If I can get that postdoc, the work will be focusing on how we can achieve a feminist foreign policy for New Zealand, the one that can be transformative, the one that allow women, especially women at the intersection of gender and race, ethnicity, to express themselves, to be part of the decision-making in the foreign policy, and through that, how we can lead this step, at the global stage.
Yeah, fantastic. Forough Amin, thank you so much. Massive round of applause for Dr. Forough Amin.
Thank you. Thank you.